everybody, MrFlavorsmith here, and today we have something just a little bit different. We are gonna take 4 thick-cut New York strip steaks, and we are gonna vacuum seal them in a vacuum-sealed bag. 2 of the steaks are gonna have wireless heat probes inserted right in the middle of the steaks. We're gonna season it with one of my favorite seasonings, Spade El Ranch seasonings. This stuff is great on steak. We're also gonna use a couple little sticks of live rosemary. We're gonna put them on either side of the steak inside the vacuum-sealed bag. They're gonna go straight into our Sous Vide system. It's our immersion cooking system. This is very popular with high-end steak restaurants because it allows them to get to temperature, cook in their own juices and everything, get nice and moist, get them to about 129 degrees Fahrenheit, and when somebody orders a steak, they take them right out of there and throw them right over the fire for a couple of minutes on each side, get a nice char boil on the outside. And that's just what we're gonna do today. After these get to about 129 degrees Fahrenheit, we're gonna throw them on our Weber Go Anywhere charcoal. We are gonna use Fogo lump coal to get a nice char on there. We're also gonna throw in some Western Premium Barbecue Products hickory chips to just give it a little bit more awesome smoky flavor. Because you know me, I love the flavor stack. All right, first things first, we have 4 bags here. We have 4 USDA choice steaks. We take our vacuum seal bags, we fold them down just a little bit because what's going to happen is once we apply rub on here and everything, all the seasoning, we don't want the seasoning on the very edge here that's going to impact the quality of the seal that it gets here. So we do that with all 4 bags. We just fold them down. We're going to open up our rosemary real quick and we're just going to get our stalks out that we want to use. I'd like to do 1 on either side of the steak, so we need 2, 4, 6, 8 stalks. To open this up, like I said, these are about a little over an inch thick, maybe 1.25 inches. Some of these might be pushing 1.5 inches thick USDA choice grade steaks. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna open up our Spade Ale. This is great steak seasoning. We're gonna season the top. And normally I like to wait about 20 minutes to let this seasoning kind of penetrate in there. But since we're doing this sous vide and we're not putting them over direct fire, we're gonna cook them inside these little vacuum seal bags. You don't have to do that. So that's kind of nice. We can just put them directly into the bags and they will be kind of like marinating within this seasoning and their juices as they cook, which is really, really, really nice. And I like to kind of move it around a little bit, flatten it down. This is my family's favorite seasoning for steaks. It's been like that for years. I am not affiliated with this company at all. I just really like the products. It's something I think you guys would really like too. It's got just a little bit of, kind of like a little bit of heat to it, a tiny amount, and that's just the crushed red peppers that are in there. It's not a lot, but man, it really gives it some awesome, bold, beefy flavoring too. Like it's just hard to really explain. I'll flip it over. And I'm kind of on a time limit here. I got started late today. That's the life of a father. Okay. Just kind of pat it on in there like this. Stick it on in there as best as you can. Ooh, those are big old juicy steaks. Those are barely fitting in my pre-cut bags here. Might have a little bit of issue here. Those are some monsters. Because you want to make sure the edge of these bags are very clean so you get a really good seal. It's very important to get. So I should have actually just went and made bigger bags. Did not do that. Here are our steaks. We're gonna start putting our rosemary in there now. Get a little bit on either side. Rosemary on each side. There we go. Rosemary on this side, rosemary on that side. All right, we're gonna now get out our Tyfer dual gold sync wireless heat thermometers. We're gonna turn this on button right here. We just take one of these heat probes. We're gonna take it, we're gonna stick it right in the center of this thick one. Push it all the way in as far as we can. Same thing with another one. Do 2 of these. All right, we set our temperature like this. We hit this one, that one right there. That's your enter, manual. We'll go with manual, and then we're gonna go down to, I'm gonna say 129 degrees, perfect, enter. Set up next one, same thing, manual. It's gonna mimic what the first one was, enter, we're good to go. Put that right there. It's measuring an internal temperature of 40 and 45 degrees. Let's get into vacuum sealing these. Go, just like this. Lock them in, hit dry, there we go. And this just takes a second. Now it's going through its seal mode. So the seal light is on right now. I know you can't see that. Usually it takes about 10 seconds. Boom, we're good there. All right, and we have a lot of juice. Go ahead and do another seal real quick. Right there. There we go, we've got one. There we go. We have it on the moist setting because the moisture from the steaks. And it just does things a little bit different. It doesn't pull all the air out. All right, everybody, I have done a twice seal on here, a double seal on here, and I did that because I do not always trust the first seal, especially when you have seasoning and liquid and everything like that. So to do a double seal is ideal. So you do want to do that. So we have 2 heat probes in here, wireless heat probes in here. We have one on this steak and we have one on this steak. All right, now we are going to fill up our sous vide water immersion system. We're gonna put hot water in there to get this going. So we're gonna do that right now. All right, here we go. This is our sous vide container full of hot water. Now we're gonna submerge our steaks in there. And then we're gonna do steak number 3. Well, whatever. But we're gonna call that, ooh, that's hot water. There, okay. Really hot water, really hot water. We are gonna put this in there. This just helps keep everything from coming up. And then now we will throw our immersion heater in there. Now I'm gonna try and move that steak around. Perfect, just like that. Okay, turn the system on. Okay, so it's 129 degrees in there. Let's up the heat a little bit. So if I remember correctly, 131, I'm gonna put it to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. That's our set temperature, 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Not sure if you folks can see that on there, probably not the sun's, but it's showing the water temp at 129 and it just keeps going up. So that was already hot water in there. And we are showing an internal temperature. So we still have an internal temperature on probe number 1 at at 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, that's going up. Internal temperature on probe number 2 at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And it is showing, let's see, 126 right here. We're gonna go off probe number 2 because To be fair, on probe number 2, I had a tighter seal, and so the water is making better contact with it, so that ambient temperature is more accurate. But we are actually gonna go off of this unit, the immersion heater. And I'm not sure how quick this is gonna get to temperature. Internally, it'll probably take around an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I don't think we're gonna get into the 2-hour zone, but I don't know. So we will come back when I see our internal temperature raised to about 100 degrees, we'll come back. We're gonna set the timer right now. We are gonna start stopwatch right now. Okay, so we will come back when this reads at, we'll come back in a half hour. We'll see what it's like at a half hour. I am going to cover the sous vide with this seal, and all this does is it helps keep the heat in. So just put this around here completely, and this will just help us from losing so much heat. Pretty important to have one of these. I mean, there's a lot of different versions out there. This was very, very affordable. I wanna say this entire setup probably cost me $70. I will have all of the affiliate links to the items listed below in the description. Whoa, all right. 30 minutes right there on the dot. And our internal temperature is sitting at 114 and 113 degrees Fahrenheit. So these things are coming along way quicker than I was anticipating. So honestly, I think the secret to making faster sous vide is to just put in some hot water from the sink. I mean, I just put hot water in from the faucet, and it wasn't even all that bad, but it started off at about 129 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's pretty cool because it's really sped this cook up. I am digging this whole sous vide thing. I mean, let's look and see what that's looking like. That's looking pretty good. You can see inside that bag there, right here, where the fat is starting to break down and it's starting to render and move around, which is just perfect. That's exactly what we want. So now the juices are flowing all throughout this, and it's going to be encompassing all of that rosemary and all of the spices that are in there. It's just going to kind of just be really, I mean, to cook in its own juices, that's just amazing. I wish we could see more, but yeah, you can see it right there. See how all of that fat is starting to break down and it's starting to move around everywhere. Really interesting. And you can see more, those bright white spots are like maybe some, like, I don't know, maybe it's like gristle, I think. Yeah, probably some gristle or something, some more of a, like that thicker, harder stuff that's not really fat that will render down. I think that's what's going on in there. But it's really cool. So 116 degrees, 115 degrees. Our target temperature is 129. We're gonna get there pretty quick. So we have an ambient temperature of, like we said, this probe number 2 over here is more accurate because it's more encompassed with water. So 132 degrees is what it's reading. But we have the immersion sitting at 134 degrees, 134.9, which is right there at 135. So, I mean, this is all just within a couple of degrees off from one another. Pretty cool. Let's just spin around and check out. Yes, so there's the immersion right there. And that heating element, you can see the coil in there. And it's got a pump, and basically what it is, it's a little fan that's in the bottom, a little stainless steel prop that's in the bottom, and it's just pushing the water around everywhere. and you can see, let's see if I can see some bubbles. I mean, I see some bubbles, but I don't know if it's gonna pick it up for you guys. But I can see like just little bubbles and stuff moving around everywhere. You can see ripples on the surface of the water that's moving around. And yeah, it's looking really good. I mean, Sous Vide, this is really awesome stuff. All right, so if you have never had the opportunity to have a sous vide steak, you probably have and you just didn't know it. Like I said, some of the finest dining steakhouse restaurants that are out there, they all use sous vide. It's just, it helps them prepare for the orders that are coming in, and it just gives a really superior flavor. Now you can go one step further than what I did, and you can put some compound butter in there. Some people even like to put a little bit of beef tallow in there or something like that, but I found I haven't needed that. Now, when you get these done to that internal temperature of 129 degrees and we go to pull them out, they're going to look really ugly. It's going to be gray, kind of like nasty yellow, dull. That's from all the fat and everything rendering and breaking it down. But I tell you what, as soon as you throw them over some hot coals and you get a flame to come up and encompass those steaks, you can just, I mean, they are tasty. So we're just a few minutes away from that right now, actually getting to that point. I think we've got about 10 more minutes to do it. So I think right about when we hit about 45 minutes into this cook is when we're probably going to hit an internal temperature of 129 degrees on these steaks, and then we'll get these going. And we're going to have it sit there. So I'm going to turn, if it hits 129, I'm going to turn the immersion heater down to 129 degrees so we can hold it, and then I'm going to get our coals going and let's get searing. All right, an hour and 4 minutes into it right here. Hour and 4 minutes into it, we have an internal temperature, oh, it just hit it, of 129 degrees on probe number 1, and probe number 2 is getting really close to 129 degrees. All right, and this is what we're looking at an hour into it. It doesn't look much different than last time we looked at it. You really can't see much difference there. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna set this temperature up top to 129 degrees. Actually, we'll make it 126.5. There we go. So now it's going to hold the temperature at 126.5 degrees Fahrenheit, basically stopping the cook of an internal temperature of 128, 129 degrees. It will pause this cook while we get our coals going. It'll give us time to do that. This is what the restaurants do, is they pause the cook with the sous vide, okay? And then it allows them to go do other things. And then when orders for steaks come in, they just pull them out of the water, cut the bags open, and stick them right over the grill and just finish it off and do a reverse sear. That's exactly what we're gonna do here. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Weber Go Anywhere. We're gonna get our Fogo lump coal in there in the chimney. So we're gonna go about 3/4 of the way. So, you know, it starts right about here, and, you know, we're gonna probably go about here, maybe a full chimney, and we're gonna put that in there, and we're gonna do a reverse sear real quick. So while our sous vide steaks are pausing right now, we're gonna get our reverse sear station up and going, and we are using Fogo lump coal right now. This is not anything super fancy. This is one of their more affordable lines or products that they have out there, but for grilling like this, it's perfect. For a reverse sear, it's perfect. So we're just gonna throw this in there. Get a couple fire starters going. Use a couple of these little bio cubes. They're from Fire and Flavor. Very affordable, like $6 for a box of 50 of them. I put 2 underneath, just kind of kitty corner from one from another, just like that. And I don't like to mess around, so I like to use a torch to start them. Find it's just easier. There we go, they are lit. And so with this should probably take about 10 minutes at max to get to temperature. When it comes to lump coal, I don't like it to wait for like 15 minutes because I feel that too much is burnt and you lose a little bit of your heat. So I like to just give it about 10 minutes max. So why use lump coal over briquettes? Well, for this, it's just hot and fast, and so it's really ideal. And I like lump coal. I like the flavor it gives. And to be honest, lump coal is just a lot of fun to work with. It reminds me of camping and a campfire, so I miss camping. I like to do more of it. So this is just a real good way to get outdoors and get that woodsy campfire aroma going. All right, we're about 3 minutes into just lighting up those coals in that chimney. I just wanted to point this out. If you look at this, probe number 1 sitting at 129.6 degrees Fahrenheit, probe number 2, 128.7 degrees Fahrenheit. These have not changed at all for about 7 minutes since we adjusted the sous vide temperature to 126.5. Once we set it there, it paused the cook. This is what I'm talking about. This is the benefit of doing sous vide. You can pause your cook and let these stay suspended in time cooking, kind of the muscles and all that tissue taking up that fat that's been rendered. It just makes them even tastier while we wait for our chimney to come to temperature and our coals to get ready. Super cool thing about sous vide. All right, so our coals have come to temperature. Time to get them in the grill. Gloves for safety first. Go. Get some of those loose ones in there through the bottom. There we go. Okay, perfect. Get all the coals moved around. It's a housekeeping part of this. As evenly distributed as possible. We're gonna put the lid back on. We have the vents fully open. We're just gonna prolong that a little bit longer. Now we're gonna open up our steaks. We can now unplug. We no longer need to hold the temperature. We can take our heating element out, put that aside. Take the lid off. The sous vide, that's the seal. Keeps everything nice and warm. And it has held the temperature perfect, just as we wanted. Get that out. We're gonna put our grill on. If you're wondering why that grill looks funny, go check out the video where I do modifications to this and you will see why. We'll let that grill get hot real quick for a few minutes. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna start opening up bags. That juice is flowing very well in these. This process is gonna go pretty quick once we get going here. All right, everybody, here we go. It is time to reverse sear. Steak number 1. Those heat probes can take up to 900 degrees Fahrenheit, a little bit hotter than that. All right, look at all that smoke coming up. Just like to give it a little blow. There we go. Let's see what our internal temperatures are looking like. 125 and 126, if you can see that. 125 and 126. We're gonna keep our eyes on that. All right, we've got some char going on. That's what we're after, is to see the flames come up, roll over the steaks as we sear. 130 and 127. We're gonna do a quick flip. Go. Oh yeah, beautiful char on these. Awesome, doing exactly what we wanted to. 132 and 128. 134, 129. We're gonna give it just a minute on this side. I want a real good char. We got 135, it's going off. This is what we're after, those flames. For that temperature to be right where it's at. I want to get a little more char going. I'm gonna flip these around this way so we can get a little bit more heat on that other side too. There we go. These bad boys are just about done. And it's raining. Of course it is. Move these around just for a second. $142, $134. I'm pulling them. Here we go. Steak number one. Let's just get a little bit of that char going. Steak number two. Yeah, there we go. All right. Steak number four. Look at that. Yeah. Loving it. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna come back and do that. I want to get I really like to have yummy fat. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna give that nice char flavor to it. All right, it's looking good. See what it looks like. Our lighting is very poor. Let's give it a shot. Take them inside real quick. All right, here it is. I know it's a little dark out here, but my goodness, this is a juicy, thick looking, awesome, beautiful, flavoricious steak. Let's bite it. My gosh. Sous vide steak gives you... Sorry, I gotta do it again. It's just so good. I'm so sorry. Having a moment over here. Sous vide steak cooked to the perfect temperature, then put directly over lump coal. man, that's amazing. Once those flames get going over it and it starts burning the outside and everything, but the inside's just perfectly done, that is what steak is all about. This is an amazing, 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 delicious, flavoricious steak without a doubt. Guys, if you haven't tried Sous Vide, go get it. All the links to everything I've used will be in the description below. It's not expensive to do. It is well worth the investment, well worth the time. It took about an hour, and we'll say if the coals were ready at the same time, be about an hour and 10 minutes or so, and then cook is done. But you know, I paused it for like 20 minutes at one point. So you can do that, all right? It's amazing. You will love Sous Vide, I promise you. If you got any value out of this video at all, please do me a huge favor. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me produce more valuable, flavorful content like this for you in the future. And until next time, live a life of flavor.